Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we got our second customization of the day with the Willard Outreach faction. I didn't even know this car was coming out, to be completely honest. I had no idea that this was even going to be a police car, but I am pretty happy to see it, honestly, because it is a pretty cool looking car. The faction is a decent vehicle, so anyway, I'm excited to customize this thing. Let's go ahead and start off with the armor. We're going to go all the way up on that, the brakes as well, engine as well. No bumper options so far, which is kind of ass, but oh well, I guess. We will go for the chrome tip exhausts on this thing. I like the look of that. For the hood, we can go for the power bulge hood. I think I will go for that. I kind of like the look of it. Hydraulics, interesting. You can put hydraulics in this thing. I'm going to leave this alone because I don't really care to spend the money on this. I mean, actually, you know what? I will. Whatever. Who cares? We'll go ahead and put the hydraulics on. We get the missile lock on jammer. We'll go ahead and put that on as well. For the headlights, a lot of people are not going to like that I'm not going to keep the yellow. I don't think, actually, you know, maybe I will keep the yellow. I will keep the yellow, as a matter of fact. Let's keep the yellow. For the livery on the vehicle, though, we should go for the State Trooper Highway Patrol one. Kind of like the look of that. Let's go for that one. Let's go for that. Police equipment, for the lighting, we can go ahead and put on a bunch of different lighting for this vehicle. I think I'm going to go for the, I think I'll go for emergency lighting 7. I like these ones the best, like the big bar and everything. You can really see the lights. So we'll go for that. For the push bar on this thing, I think I'm going to go for the assault push bar. I think I might as well. And for the searchlights, I think I will go for both of them raised, just to get a little more light on the front of the car. I think that's going to be cool. For the respray on this vehicle, I think I might go the double white and go for like a Sandy Shores or like a North Yankton looking sort of build with this, I guess. Transmission will go all the way up. Turbo will go all the way up on that as well. The wheels, I mean, I kind of like the stock ones, to be honest. One thing I might do is go for like the Spooner, but are they even any better? Not really. I feel like these are fine. We'll just keep the stock wheels. We'll go bulletproof on the tires. And for the windows, I'll do dark smoke again, like I did on the D10. Low key, we got to change that livery though, because you cannot see shit on it. So we'll go LS State Trooper. We'll do that one, because that one you can actually clearly see what it says against the white background, which is kind of helpful. I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed with the customization on this thing. This one feels like really lazy. Like there's really nothing you can do to this thing, which is kind of lame. Like, not that you can do a whole lot to any of the cop cars, but like this one feels kind of especially lame. This feels like the Dink Adjuster are a wide body version of like a cop cars. You know what I mean? Like, just like, what, like really? Like it's like a hood option. That's like it. There's not even spoiler options for this thing, are there? No, there's not. Like no traction bonus either, which is that's terrible news. But anyway, we'll take it outside. We're going to do a sound test and a full review on the vehicle, of course. So let's go ahead and just take a listen here. Well, I'm not gonna lie, this thing actually sounds a lot better than I remember. It sounds a lot better than the D10 by comparison too. I would go as far as to say this thing definitely it's sounding pretty good. Definitely noticing the lack of the spoiler option, like right off the bat. The traction bonus not being on the car is a bit tough. I definitely think that this thing should have had something for a spoiler option, like something to help with the downforce, but I guess not. I guess for the low cost of, how much is this vehicle? This shit's expensive as hell. It's way too much. $4.15 million. You'd think you'd get a spoiler option at least, you know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. No matter what though, the Willard Outreach faction is a pretty interesting vehicle. I don't think it's going to be one of the best police cars ever. It might be like slightly faster than some of the other like four-door variants, but I don't think this thing is going to be, especially without a spoiler option, I really don't think this thing is going to be better than like something like the Fox Body Interceptor, for example. Like, I just don't see any way in which this thing will be better. So that is something you may want to keep in mind. Oh, hang on. Sorry, just said it's fighting crime and shit, you know. But yeah, $4,150,000 is a lot of money for this vehicle. I feel like shit. I mean, like, I want to be nice, you know, because I feel like the Willard faction is an underutilized car. I feel like it's underloved and everything like that, right? But at the end of the day, this shit is, like, way too expensive to be what it is. Like, I don't know, I guess some of the other cop cars that are, like, similarly priced don't have spoiler options necessarily either. Like, the Stain Your LE Cruiser, I'm pretty sure doesn't have one. But, I mean, to be fair, this thing is actually feeling pretty good with no spoiler option. Like, if it had a spoiler option, I feel like this thing would actually be, like, really good. But even without the spoiler, it does actually get pretty good traction, I must say. I don't know if that's because I left the stock wheels on or something, but it feels pretty good. It actually does feel pretty good, I will say that. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, I guess, is that you might not need the spoiler option for this vehicle. I do still think it's a bit of a ripoff, though, just even based just solely off of, like, customization. Like, it's a lot of money for basically no customization. I think if you were gonna be in the market for, like, a police car, I would save the extra money and just get the Coquette D10 Pursuit. Like, I just don't see a world in which you should buy this thing in comparison to the D10 Pursuit, because that thing is just better than this in every way, and it's probably better than any other cop car in the entire game in any other way as well. Like, it's just kind of a no-brainer for me. If you got tons of extra money and you got, like, a police garage or something like that, you may want to consider buying this vehicle, but I just don't really see why you kind of would. For most people, like, this thing just kind of reminds me of, like, a very similar vapid Stain Your LE Cruiser, and granted, this thing is probably quite significantly faster, and honestly does probably have pretty similar customization, all things considered. But yeah, I feel like this thing's a little bit of a ripoff for most people, unless you're, like, a really big fan of this car in particular and stuff like that. Then you may want to consider it, but I think for most people this is probably going to be a pretty easy no and a pretty easy pass. I don't think that this thing is necessarily super worth buying. For the vast majority of you, like, most of the cop cars aren't worth buying, but especially even if you're into cop cars, I think there's better ones you can get than this for, like, similar-ish money. So definitely just take a look around, do your research before you jump into anything. But yeah, the faction's cool. It's just, yeah, a spoiler option could have gone far, and yeah, maybe a slightly cheaper price as well. That could have also gone far. Overall, I am pretty impressed with the vehicle. It does handle seemingly quite well, especially, you know, considering that it doesn't have a spoiler option. The acceleration's also quite nice, and the top speed isn't bad either. Yeah, overall, it's like, it's a decent car. I just don't think it's necessarily worth the money, especially without a spoiler option too. Like, with cars like the Greenwood and stuff like that, where I think they do have spoiler options, I don't see why this one is necessarily necessary for most of you, probably. But anyway, guys, that's it for the Willard Outreach faction. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, of course, and consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new. That being said, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.